Hello, thanks for watching. This is a summary of the VBS meeting. Thank you so much for volunteering for VBS at Brandywine Valley Baptist Church. We're going to go through this volunteer handbook. You should have received an attachment in your email. So if you want to pause right now and print this out, it will be helpful, but you don't have to do that. But this would be a good time to pause the video, print out this handbook. We're going to go through it, or just listen carefully as we do. The first thing I need you to know is that you'll be able to pick up a hard copy of this, and also you can pick up your volunteer t-shirt. These were given out at our meeting, and right now they are on a table at church. They're on a table in between the fellowship hall and the preschool wing. So you can stop by anytime during the week. If you come in between 9 and 5, the office is open. You can head down and pick those up, or you can pick them up on Sunday morning. Our t-shirt, this is our volunteer t-shirt this year with our new logo. You'll be picking this up and you'll need to wear it on Monday of VBS, and then also wear it again on Thursday. Those are the 2 days you're required to, but certainly feel free to wear it more as long as you don't get too stinky. You can wear it all week if you'd like. We'll go through our book now, and in the volunteer handbook, I would like you to read this cover to cover. Make sure that you know all the details in it before VBS, but I'm going to highlight a few things that were highlighted in the volunteer meeting as well. Right inside the front cover on the very first page is my cell phone number, and I'd like you to put my cell phone number into your phone. If you have never texted me before and you don't have me in your contacts, go ahead and add me now. I'll tell you the number. It's printed in here as well. It's 302-593-3720. So go ahead and put that number in your phone. Send me a text with your name so that I can also put you in my contacts. If you're following along in your handbook, I'm turning to page 4 and 5. 4 and 5 has a chart of our daily themes this year, and I'll tell you a little bit about those, and then we'll learn the Bible verse. Our themes each day, a Bible story will go with each one. So Monday is Jesus Cares About Me, and the kids will be learning about the story of the lost sheep in Luke. On Tuesday, our theme is Jesus Gives Me Hope, and we'll learn about the resurrection of Lazarus. On Wednesday, our theme is Jesus Helps Me Believe, and we'll learn about Thomas going from doubting to believing. On Thursday, our theme is Jesus Loves Me, and we'll learn about John writing about Jesus. And on Friday, our theme is Jesus Gives Me Joy, and the story in the Bible is about Paul and Silas in prison. And now we'll learn our Bible verse motions.
Hi, my name's Catherine Polig, and if you don't know me, I'm the Children's Ministry Summer Intern for this year. And so our memory verse for the week is every day we'll be doing 2 Peter 1:3, but each day it'll be a little different because we're going to add on each day. I'm going to teach you the motions right now.
Day 1.
His divine power has given us everything.
Day 2.
His divine power has given us everything required for life and godliness.
Day 3.
His divine power has given us everything required for life and godliness through the knowledge of Him who called us by.
Day 4.
His divine power has given us everything required for life and godliness through the knowledge of Him who called us by His own glory and goodness.
2 Peter 1:3.
And that verse is also the same as it is for day 5.
All right, now I'd like to go over some more in your handbook, and I'm going to start on page 6 and 7. Make sure you watch till the end because you will find out the secret password, and you'll need to text that password to me or email it to me. And once you've done that, I'll know that you have watched this video since you missed our meeting. Again, I'm also going to just pretty much quickly highlight through the most important parts of your handbook, but don't forget to read the whole thing. First of all, our registration, especially if you've never done our VBS before, I want you to know what happens on the first day. When you come in, all the children who have been pre-registered for VBS will have a parent handbook similar to this, and they will have a name tag, and they'll be picking those up before coming in. We also have kids who come who will not be pre-registered, and they will go straight to the tent to register. Now, I am assuming that if you have kids or are bringing kids with you, that you have already registered them. If not, our pre-registration is pretty much ending. We're going to go ahead and keep it open until Tuesday. So if you have not registered yet, you'll need to make sure you do that by July 17th. You can do that online. Just go to the brandywineonline.org website. All right, also, on that first day, you're going to pick up your own name tag. Every leader must wear a name tag. So on Monday, you're going to arrive to church by 8:30. You're going to be wearing your Brandywine Kids volunteer t-shirt, and then you're going to be picking up your name tag and wearing that every day of VBS. That way, we know that you're official and you are a leader. Also, if you have a child who's under 4 years old, you will drop your child who is in the nursery upstairs, and that is basically just children who are under 2. You'll go to the nursery upstairs. If you have a child who's in the 2s and 3s class, that will be downstairs in room 47. And those are the only children that get dropped off in a classroom. Only those who are under 4. Everyone else will arrive and come to the sanctuary. On Monday morning, the first day, as I said, the kids will be picking up the parent handbook, their own name tag, and if they have an allergy, they will have an allergy band hooked to their handbook, and they will wear that. It's just one of those little wristbands. They'll wear that all day, and on the band, if they have a food allergy, it will tell what food allergy they have. And the snack station has already worked out all of their special snacks. We also have bracelets for those parents who do not want their child's photo taken, and that will also be attached to the parent handbook. They'll receive that when they come in, and they'll come to you with a blue wristband, and our photographers know not to take pictures of them. Please also make sure you're not taking photos with your cell phone of the kids who are not supposed to be photographed. On the rest of the week, Tuesday through Friday, the kids will be coming in and picking up their name tag in the lobby. And that means every day you need to collect the kids' name tags at the end of the day. And then you need to put them in alphabetical order back out at the table that will be in the lobby. So this is a great job for our teen helpers. Teens, if you would love to do that, that would help us so much. Just take all your group tags out to the lobby, put them in alphabetical order before you leave. The other thing you'll be doing, if you are a guide, your group will have a backpack that looks like this. We have several handy things in there like Band-Aids and gloves, but you'll also have your attendance sheet and clipboard in here. Every day that will be replaced. You'll have a new attendance sheet. On the first day, everyone who is pre-registered will be listed on that sheet. However, the kids who come in and need to be registered on Monday morning will come to your group. Their name tag will be a handwritten name tag, and then you can just handwrite them on your list. It's very important that you do that. For anyone who comes to your group who was not pre-registered, write them on your list. It's also very important that each group picks someone who will carry this around all day. You must always have this bag with you. It has your attendance sheet in it, and that way if for some reason we need to evacuate the building, you'll have this with you when you go out. You'll have your attendance sheet and you'll be able to check that. On page 7 in your handbook, there are some safety guidelines that I'd like to go over. Our number one most important safety guideline is that you are to never be alone with a child. Now, you're going to be with lots of children, and our building is going to be filled with children, and it seems like it would actually be hard to find yourself alone with one child. But this means that even if you need to take a child to the bathroom, that if one adult or one teen takes one child to the bathroom and no one else is there, then you would be alone. So, in order to solve a problem like that, just go ahead and take 2 children to the bathroom with you. A friend always is willing to go along for that trip. There are several other safety guidelines that you should make sure you go through, read, and review. But another one to remind you, especially for the younger groups, is that only adult females are allowed to change diapers or to help directly in the bathroom. So if a very young child actually needs help wiping in the bathroom, only an adult female can help with that. You always want to prop the door open when that happens. You always want someone else in there with you. And then ask the child permission. If they're asking for help from you, then ask just to confirm permission that they would like help and that they need that. If there's anything that you're not sure about, especially our safety guidelines, feel free to ask me. Make sure you do that. Another important safety guideline is that you need to count everyone in your group before you leave any area, and then travel to that area and make sure you count your group once again when you arrive at your next station or your next destination. Next, we have some policies for emergencies, and one is if you do need to call 911, you need to be very specific about your location on the property. But you also should make sure that you send a runner to find me, or you can call or text my phone, which is why you need to have my phone number in there. What you'll need to do is send a runner to the main lobby, and Jennifer Robinson sits in the main lobby the whole morning, and I usually check in there as much as I can during the day as well. So if you can send a runner, if you're having any kind of emergency, even if it's not a life-threatening emergency that you would need to call 911, if you have any other issue or problem, make sure you send someone to the lobby to tell either Jen Robinson or myself. All right, also on to any kind of minor first aid treatment. The only first aid you should be offering is a Band-Aid. There are some first aid kits around, which also have lots of other things to help treat wounds, some ointments and that sort of thing. But please do not use any of those on our children. We don't have permission to use those from parents, and we don't know about allergies for that. So the most you should be doing is giving a Band-Aid, or we also have frozen sponges in case someone gets a bump somewhere. Our frozen sponges are kept in the main kitchen downstairs, and then also the kitchen that is right next to the gym upstairs. And if you go in there, you'll find a frozen sponge in a baggie, and the child can apply that. Anything more than you just giving out a Band-Aid should be brought to my attention. So make sure that you're either texting me or sending someone up to tell me, or I can also help with that child. I mentioned our evacuation. Of course, if we have to evacuate the building, you're going to need to take this bag with you. And what you're going to do is go to whatever the nearest exit is. All the groups of all the ages go ahead and they travel around through the building. So you may be in one location and you're going to just need to find out whichever is the closest exit. And everyone, no matter what exit you leave, you're going to make sure you have your bag with you and take your group all the way to the far end of the parking lot. Line your group up and take attendance, and then you'll just wait for further instructions. Just don't forget that backpack. All right, our next section is about preschool. And preschool has a schedule, and that is in your volunteer handbook. And if you're following along, it's page 8 and 9. The schedule for preschool is a little bit different than elementary, and here's the difference. Preschool, actually, each group has a homeroom. Our elementary groups do not have a homeroom. They go from one station to the other and end up back in the sanctuary. The preschoolers start the day after our opening worship pep rally in the sanctuary. They will start the day in their homeroom. And then the preschool groups travel to stations and they end up back in their homeroom for our dismissal time. They go to stations, except there is one station that you'll actually run within the classroom. If you are a preschool guide, you will have one time of 20-minute period where you'll be in your own homeroom. But the activities for you have already been planned. In your handbook, there is a chart of this. It's on page 12 and 13. And it's a list of things that you can do while you're in your homeroom if you're a preschool guide. Every day, each group will be practicing some of the songs that we're learning for the week. But there's also a list of other activities with very simple instructions and very simple materials. And all of that will already be in your room. So you can use any of these preschool activities during your activity period. You could use any of these during that first 10 minutes in the room or at the last 10 minutes in the room. Feel free to use any of these activities. They're listed by day, but you can always go back and do one that you did a different day. That works as well. All right, next, after we're looking here at all the preschool stuff in your handbook, there's also a map. You'll see where the rooms are, and then if you know what your group is, there's a chart in the back of this that'll tell you what your homeroom is. Next, we will be moving ahead to look at our elementary groups. Our next section is the elementary section. We actually have 3 full rotations for VBS. Our preschool is one of those. And then our elementary is broken apart into early elementary and upper elementary. Our early elementary groups are listed on page 14 and 15. You'll see a list of all the names of the groups for early elementary and then all the stations that they go to. This is the schedule for them. And on the very next page is our rotation for the upper elementary. For upper elementary, our groups are mostly groups that have 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders all mixed in them. But we do have one group, the Warriors, who are only 5th graders, with a couple of 4th graders snuck in there as well. But all our 5th graders will be in that one group. So if we go back to page 14 and 15, you will see all the rotations. For example, the Eagles is an early elementary group. It will have kindergartners and 1st graders combined in that room. After being in the sanctuary for our worship pep rally, the Eagles go to crafts first. And these charts have the room numbers on them. And just past these, you'll see some maps. The maps also tell you which door is the indoor and which is the outdoor for each station. Because we have so many kids and we have some narrow hallways, we want to make sure we're always going in a certain direction in the building and that you're always going in the indoor and leaving from the outdoor. There'll be signs on every door to show you which one is which so that you won't get confused. This year we're going to add some arrows on the floor as well to make sure that you're going in the right direction. Our early elementary chart, you'll see, is very similar to the upper elementary chart, just with different rooms and different station leaders for those. The other thing that you need to know about elementary, the elementary kids will be dismissing from the sanctuary. This is a difference from preschool. So kindergartners up to 5th graders are all of those groups will be headed back to the sanctuary when you're finished your last station. You'll go to the sanctuary once all groups are seated. I will begin dismissal. But we do not let any parents into the sanctuary until all groups are back and are seated. Part of your job as a guide would be to make sure that your kids remain seated during that whole process. So until they see their parent, you'll have them seated. I did forget to mention that in our preschool dismissal, the parents will actually check out their child. So they'll come to the preschool to dismiss, and you should have your attendance sheet right there at the door at dismissal time. And then you will dismiss the child and check off his or her name on your chart. The elementary, you'll do the same thing with your checkout sheet, only you'll be in the sanctuary. We'll open the doors when it's time to dismiss. Parents will come in, they'll find their child, they should check in with you, and then you should mark the child out on that attendance sheet. We also will have 2 people stationed at the outdoor. There's only one entrance to the sanctuary, and there will be only one exit in the sanctuary. There'll be guards right there so that no child leaves the sanctuary without an adult. Also in your handbook, you'll find that map. That's on the next few pages, page 18 and 19. And then we're skipping ahead now to page 21. Page 21 summarizes your instructions if you are a guide, or your instructions if you're a station leader or a helper in a station. And you'll see the difference if you'll just read through those. The main difference is that if you're a station leader or helper, you stay in one room the whole morning. If you are a guide, you stay with one group for the whole morning, which means you'll travel with them to all their stations. At the bottom of page 21, there's some helpful hints, and I want to remind you, if you haven't already started praying for your group, even though you don't know their names, go ahead and start praying for the kids that you will interact with at VBS. Another reminder is that as you're going from station to station, allow bathroom breaks mainly between stations if possible. Snack is another good time to actually remind everyone to go ahead and take a bathroom break. You also want to make sure that they're not leaving in the middle of the Bible lesson, or they're not leaving in the middle of the mission lesson, or the directions for their craft. So remind the kids when it's a good time to go to the bathroom. In your preschool groups, whenever you're in your homeroom is a good time to use the bathroom. Some of the preschool homerooms have a bathroom within the classroom, but some you'll need to actually go down the hall. So again, don't forget the bathroom rule. Don't just have one leader and one child go. Make sure you're taking at least 2 children, and don't just send anyone to the bathroom of any age. Make sure a leader, an adult or teen, can just follow them, make sure they're getting to the bathroom, doing what they need to do, and they're getting back with you. But encourage that in-between time for bathroom breaks. Another thing is you're going to make sure you remember to give your attention to the children, not to other leaders. When I walk through, I love to see our adults and our teens interacting with the kids. That is one of your main jobs all day long. From the minute the kids come in, make sure you're welcoming them, giving them a smile, asking things about their life. Start to build that relationship. During the week, they're going to be introduced to Jesus Christ. They're going to learn how to follow him and how to serve him. And you are part of that. So get to learn about their life so that you will also then have the opportunity to introduce Jesus to them. The other thing you need to remember is that you can separate children who are not working well together, set them up to have a good experience. You can use the 5 count, which I'll teach at opening, and that's when we just start counting to 5 as a leader. And by 5, everyone's supposed to be quiet, and the kids are supposed to raise their hand to remind everyone else too. At the end of your booklet is also a discipline plan that we use, so we'll be getting to that in a little bit, and you'll know what to do. All right, next is on page 22 and 23. We have our guide responsibilities, and we also have some explanations of what happens in each station. Just make sure you read through all of that information there. One thing I'll just highlight at the top of the page is that you need to arrive by 8:30 a.m. That's nice and early, but on day 1, it's going to seem a little easier. Day 2, it might seem a little harder. By Friday, it may be difficult, but it's really important that you come by 8:30. Our kids will be getting here. They won't be allowed into the sanctuary until 8:45, but you will need to be in place prior to that. So please allow plenty of time to park. Park as far away as you can to allow spots for parents who are coming in. You're going to sit in the sanctuary and welcome the kids into your group. Don't forget to learn their names from the very first time they come in and use their names all week. Talk to the children and get to know them. Last year, we encouraged you to split your group up into 4 subgroups. And this year, we've actually made it a little easier for you. So ahead of time, we are dividing them up into 4 subgroups. So if we've assigned someone to the Wildcats, we've also given them a number, either 1, 2, 3, or 4. And you'll be breaking into groups several times. One is at the snack station. And there are 4 tables for our elementary groups. We only subdivide the elementary groups. There are 4 snack tables. So when you go to snack, make sure everyone who is a number 1 sits at the table marked 1. Same thing for 2, 3, and 4. That will also be handy when you go to the mission station because you'll break into 4 smaller prayer groups. And these groups are already divided for you. Now, if you need to separate out 2 children that maybe shouldn't be in that same little small subgroup, feel free to make changes. but make sure that you're always dividing into 4 groups and that one leader is with one of those subgroups. So when I walk through a snack station, for example, I should see children who have number 1 on their name tag all at the number 1 table. I should also see one leader at every single table, because remember, snack time is a great time to get to know your kids, to talk to them, to build the relationship. It's a great time to listen to their Bible verse. Also, a reminder for your Bible verse, the children will be receiving a hole punch on their name tag when they say the assigned Bible verse section for that day. So, the children have a name tag with a lanyard and a pouch. And what you'll do each day, they will receive a Bible verse card. They'll be in your backpack, your handy dandy backpack. We'll have Bible verse cards. So on Monday, the day 1 cards will be in here. You'll hand them out, they'll stick it in their pouch. On that Bible verse card, on the one side, it has just the section of the verse that's due that day. On the back of it, it has a prayer request. Our missions project is for our missionaries in Haiti. So on the back of the Bible verse card, you'll have a prayer request, and that is something that you'll pray for throughout the day. When you listen to someone recite their Bible verse section, so on the first day, they'll recite, "His divine power has given us everything." If they say that much, you're going to take out their name tag from their pouch, and on their name tag, punch a hole. You won't punch more than 1 hole each day. They have to re-say whatever they're going to say on Tuesday, whatever's assigned for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So you're going to punch only 1 time if they recite it without help from you. And what they're going to do on Thursday night is they get to go to the prize redemption station. So they get hole punches for saying their Bible verse. The only other possibility is if your group has won the Spirit Award, which we give out Spirit Awards every day starting on Tuesday. And if your group has won that, you'll give them a bonus punch. So on Thursday night, they can go to the Prize Redemption Center with their name tag, and they can take however many prizes to match however many hole punches that they have. All right, and a lot of that will happen in your snack station. But don't forget, in between times, if you're waiting to go into station, that's a great time to talk to the kids. It's a great time also to listen to Bible memory if they're ready to recite it. In all stations, no matter where you go, a few other reminders. One is that you should be focused on the kids, not on other leaders. Our station leaders have worked very hard to plan crafts, to plan the Bible lesson, to plan all the things that happen in the stations. If you're a guide, your job is to take care of the discipline within the room. Our station leaders shouldn't have to stop what they're doing to make sure someone's not talking or being disrespectful. So guides, adults and teens, you are in charge of that. So make sure everyone gets to the right place at the right time and that they're doing the right thing when they're there. Another reminder is there should be no cell phones out. That's for adults, for teens, and for kids. No electronics. If children are bringing those with them, they should not have them out. If they do have them out, just take them and put them in the backpack, and you can give that back to the child at the end of the day. Tell them that we're not supposed to have those here. I also expect that you are not on your phone for any reason other than if you need to text or call me for an emergency or an urgent issue. Otherwise, you should not have your cell phone out. You're taking charge of the discipline in the station, and in a little bit I'll be telling you about our discipline plan. And then last but not least, you need to make sure that you leave every room and area that you're in the way you found it. But make sure the kids are cleaning up after themselves. Teach them that responsibility before you move on to the next thing. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our Thursday night family program. We usually have lots of families who come out to that. And the agenda for that is on page 24. The service during that time will have each group come to the stage to help lead worship on at least one of the songs that we've learned in VBS. Page 24 will tell you which group does which song. For example, the teddy bears are assigned for the first song. And that means when we're about to sing each and every day, they will come up to the stage along with a few other groups and they'll sing it for us.
The Passers Phillies. Go Phils.
Oh, don't miss that. Then you'll see day 2, day 3, all the different songs are assigned to a few groups who will come up to the stage. I do want all groups to come to the stage for the day 4 song, and that song is What Great Love, because we'll be singing that song in church the Sunday following VBS, and we'll want all the kids to come as well. On Sunday morning, they'll be asked to come on up and help lead that for our whole church. So all groups will sing What Great Love, and your group will be assigned to one other song to present for the Family Night program. Next, on page 25, this explains our connection cards, which are also only for the elementary groups. You'll have these in your bag, and you'll fill out this information throughout the week as you build relationships and talk to your kids.
Just so you know, the Passers Phillies. You know what that means.
Look for those connection cards and make sure you read through all these directions of how to fill those out. Our last thing today is a very important thing. So our one last thing is on the very last page, page 38 in your handbook. And it is our VBS discipline plan. This is the plan that we use on Sunday mornings in church. We use this plan with the kids at Awana on Wednesday nights also. And it's a very simple discipline plan. Here's how it goes. It's really a 1, 2, and 3. Or you can almost think of it as a green light, yellow light, red light. And the preschoolers, that language works with them really well. Here's what happens. If a child is not following directions or being disrespectful to you, not listening to what you're telling them to do, what you'll do is give them a number 1, and it's a warning. Our warning is number 1. And I like to actually put up my finger to show them that they're actually getting a number 1. What this will help avoid is you calling out this child's name over and over and over again. And they keep repeating this behavior that's unwanted. And that usually is not an effective way, because if they're not seeing any consequence, then they're going to continue doing that behavior. So if you have someone who is doing something they shouldn't be doing, tell them they have a warning, and that's a number 1. The next time you need to correct that same child, and it may be any time the rest of the morning. So you may have given them a warning in crafts, and later on in the mission station, they are also not listening, or they're bothering someone or not doing what they were told. Then you give them a number 2. When you give a number 2, you need to either have them lose some bit of activity or move their seat. So if this is in the middle of the Bible story and they're sitting and they're talking to someone instead of paying attention, you can tap them on the shoulder, very quietly just say, you have a 2, and tell them to move. Move them to a different seat. It might be right by you or by another leader or just in a place where they can focus more. But tell them that that's a 2 because you had already given them a 1 earlier. Now you're giving them a 2 and you're doing something or taking something away. After 2, hopefully we don't have anyone getting to a 3. But if they need to, then it needs to happen. If you've already given a 1 and a 2, the next time something happens, you'll tell them that this is a 3. And that means they need to be removed from the group temporarily. This also means that I'll need to tell their parents that they had had a warning, they had had a 2, which was a loss of activity, and that they've also gotten to 3 all in the same day. And that I will then talk to the parent. What you can do is bring that child up to the lobby until I can talk to the child. You can certainly talk to the child and make sure it's clear why you're removing them from your group for a moment. And then I'll talk to them. I will let them know that I'm going to need to mention it to their parent, and then I'll talk about a plan for them to be able to go back into the group. We want all the kids to be able to stay and participate and come back the next day. So we'll talk about what that child can do differently when he or she returns to the group. If you have any questions or troubles with behavior, make sure you're talking to me. I really hate to hear on Friday that you've had trouble with one child all week and I haven't heard about it. Because if we use this simple plan, you can set that child up for success earlier in the week. your job will be easier, and that child and all the others around him or her will have a better week. All right. Thanks so much for watching this whole thing. And don't forget to text me or email me our password, which is Phillies. Go Phils!